Hi, Heidi Hollis here with another installment of Alien Advice, and today I have a very interesting letter. It reads, "Hi Heidi, I recently listened to you on Coast to Coast AM talking about shadow people. To make a long story short, when I was about 10 years old, I remember being in my mom and dad's room in the early morning. The sun was out and the room was completely lit up by it. I remember a guy on Coast to Coast saying, 'Shadow creatures don't come out during the day.' Well, this was the day. My mother and father were sleeping in bed, and as I was lying with them, suddenly a small black circle started to appear on the middle of the ceiling. It grew to about 8 inches round and then proceeded to come out of the ceiling to about 12 inches, which it then looked like a real black object. Then, hundreds of small 1-inch men started to jump out of the ceiling object. They were all over the room. They had facial expressions, but every one of them was pure black. I remember they had spears, or what appeared to be spears, and they would throw them at me, and they would go into my skin, but they would not hurt. I would pull out the spears and break them. I could feel the spears, they were physical. I would also pick up some of the creatures in my hand. The creatures seemed to be gesturing me to play with them. I tried to wake my parents so they could see them, but they would not wake up. I even hollered at them and shook them, but they would not wake up. I seemed to play with the creatures for about what seemed to be an hour. The creatures then all started to jump back into the black cylinder thing in the ceiling. After all the creatures were in the cylinder slowly went back into the ceiling and then got smaller and then disappeared. My parents soon after woke up. I have never forgotten this experience. I have told other people about it, but no one knows what it could have been. Some other strange things happened in that house and in that yard growing up. Do you have any ideas what that experience could have been? Do you think that it was some sort of shadow creatures? Whoops. Thanks, I'm 40 years old now. Terry. Terry, that is a very unique experience that I personally have not heard of. I have heard of people visiting other planets that claim to see tiny little creatures that they play with. What makes me think that this may not have been exactly shadow beings, but they could have been. They could possibly be shadow people. But I think really here in your experience that you see a working together of alien beings and shadow people very clearly, because gray alien beings are very much known for sending out toys and whatnot to get kids to play with them, so they kind of get a little closer with them and kind of open up the door for them to have experiences with them. And one thing that I wrote about in my book, The Secret War, is how shadow people are in control of alien beings, the more negative alien beings that do abductions and whatnot. So if indeed these were alien creatures using one of their tactics and kind of incorporating what the shadow people can do and kind of appearing like them, I am leaning toward these being truly alien related with shadow influences. That's kind of wild, isn't it? And when you said that you had other experiences in the yard and not able to wake your parents up, these are such telltale signs of alien abduction, alien trickery, I guess you could say. Very much what they do. So it leads me to believe that they had a pretty good hand in this, and that they just kind of used their boss's expertise in casting little shadow things to lure you in. So I hope that this helped you. I hope to gosh that other experiences that you had were not more awful or anything horrible. These things seem to kind of be entertaining to you, but I have a feeling that it was just kind of a little introduction. I would ask you a few questions myself. Was this the very first experience that led into other experiences? Had you seen UFOs, aliens? So those are some of the things that I would ask you in trying to get down and into the middle of all of what this meant to you. So I hope that this helped you. If you have any other questions, feel free to write me. Try to get to it, and thanks a lot.